Yo! Welcome back to Pokemon Emerald. I'm Artis, I'm Science Slime, and today we are going to be discussing a certain set of Pokemon. Now, way back in the day, the Pokemon Company decided to do certain distributions for this game, as well as Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. I don't believe that both this and Fire Red Leaf Green got all of these distributions, but I'm going to be talking about the ones that this one got and the ones that we also didn't get over here in the US. Or in the North Americas in general, rather. So, the first, let's start from the beginning. So, they gave out items that would allow you to take this port and go find various Pokemon. Now, the first set of Pokemon that they allowed you to go and get was either Latios, if you chose to find Latios in this game, or Latios if you chose to get Latios. Yeah, they gave you the choice to get the other Pokemon. Or, if you were playing Ruby and Sapphire, it would straight up give you the Pokemon that is not available in those games. So, Latios is in Sapphire, Latios is in Ruby. They would allow you to get the opposite Pokemon. So that's cool, except for the fact that those were one-time distributions, and after those distributions, you can't get them in this game, which is why I'm talking about them instead of just going and getting them. The next Pokemon that they allowed you to get through these items were Ho-Oh and Lugia. They would give you an item that would take you to the Naval Island. You would go up various ladders. Up at the very top of the island, you would find Ho-Oh. And way down in the basement, you would take many ladders to get down to the basement. You would find Lugia. Now, I have shown Ho-Oh and Lugia fights over in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so it's not that big an issue, and at least they're on video on this channel in some form, so I'm not too bummed about those two. These next two, though, it's kind of a big bummer that they're not just straight up in-game, and it was item distributions again. However, one of these Pokemon was not available in North America at all. This next Pokemon is Mew. Mew's item was the Old Sea map, and it would take you to the Faraway Island, and that event was not made available in North America. It was a Japanese-only event, which kinda sucks. But it also really sucks because if you were to play Emerald today, you would not be able to get Mew at all, even if you were playing the Japanese version. So that super sucks. And then, at least, this last one has some kind of redemption story. But it still sucks that you can't get it today if you were to play Emerald today. The final Pokemon that was made available through these events was Deoxys. Deoxys is a psychic type, a monotype psychic type, and it has 4 different forms. It has the attack form, defense form, the speed form, and the normal form. I'm not sure if I talked about Deoxys already, because it's been a year plus since I've done this series, but I'm talking about the events right now, so I may as well bring it up. So, yeah, those 4 different forms are different forms of Deoxys depending on which Pokemon game in Gen 3 that you're playing. I think only the normal form is available in Ruby and Sapphire. I think the speed form is in Emerald, and attack or defense are in Fire Red Leaf Green. I don't remember the specifics, but I'm pretty sure the specific forms are tied to whichever game you're playing, and you're catching them in. But you can at least, if you somehow manage to get your hands on a Deoxys and then transferred it to Gen 4, then you'd be able to change its form freely using the meteorites in, what was it, in Veilstone City in Diamond Pearl Platinum, and then in, I think it was east of Pewter City, there are a bunch of meteorites in Heart Gold Soul Silver that allow you to change Deoxys form. I'm pretty sure it's east of Pewter City in Heart Gold Soul Silver. So yeah, those are the special Pokemon that you can't access in Emerald anymore. But at least I did mention that Deoxys has a very minuscule slight redemption. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, specifically not Emerald. Should have just remade Emerald, but whatever. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there is a post-game event called the Emerald Episode. And in this Emerald Episode, you would find various characters that were not in the original games. I think it was actually just one, maybe two. But this character is Zinnia, and she allows you to go up to the Sky Pillar, fight Rayquaza, however you pronounce it. Take your pick. And she would explain, oh, hey, yeah, Rayquaza has a Mega Evolution you can use. Oh, and by the way, there's a meteorite that's about to hit Earth and kill everyone unless we take care of it. She's not specifically the one that mentions all of this, but she's like, okay, let's go back to the beginning of the Emerald episode, since I'm talking about it now. So, in the beginning of the Emerald episode, there is a revelation that there is a giant meteorite about to hit the Earth, and we need to stop it. However, there is a plan to send this meteorite to another world, another dimension, or something. So, this world is saved, but uh-oh. Zinnia reveals, oh wait, what if it gets sent to another Earth, and they get struck and destroyed? So another plan is brought up through Zinnia to get the help of Rayquaza. Now, how is this relevant to Deoxys? It turns out this meteorite contained Deoxys itself. So you can fight Deoxys in regular Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire without the use of distribution items through this Emerald event. And that's pretty cool. I really like the Emerald event. Unfortunately, it did not, like, it doesn't quite make up for the fact that there is no Battle Frontier in those games. And if there was a Battle Frontier in those games, then I would have just tried to find a way to play those games instead, maybe. Like, the Battle Frontier is one of the few things that makes me want to play this one instead of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Like, there's a lot of different things that those two games do that are really good. There's the physical special split, which is really nice. And then there's the addition of fairy types. And then also Mega Evolution. Like, man, that is 3 really good things going for it. And then, on top of that, it's Delta Emerald episode. Thank you, brain, for remembering. It's called the Delta Emerald episode, which contains Rayquaza's story, as well as the addition of being able to catch Deoxys. Like, those are 4 really, really good additions. And on top of that, they make Latios a not roaming Pokemon, which that eliminates a whole set of frustrations. Because, as I showed, Latios can be quite annoying to find and catch, unless you just immediately use the Master Ball on it. And honestly, I actually used that Latios in my first playthrough of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Actually, my only playthrough of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Just Alpha Sapphire, because that's the only one I played in the set. And there's a bunch of other stuff that I didn't even mention that's really good about those, like, that pair. But the omission of the Battle Frontier is just too big to ignore. Like, it's a huge shame that those games don't have the Battle Frontier, and honestly, that was the biggest mark that the Pokemon games should be slowing down, because they could have added the Battle Frontier if there was more time given to those games, and if there was, like, it's a big mark that, are Pokemon games getting worse? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but that was a huge mark, a huge red flag that the quality may be dipping. I'm not saying that every game after Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was bad, but I don't know. It's just a real point of contention with Pokemon fans, and it's just a real shame that those games just discluded the Battle Frontier, because if it had the Battle Frontier, that would be the definition Pokemon game to play. Because having Deoxys actually battleable, that's huge. Like, that is literally the only Pokemon game where you can fight Deoxys, aside from, like, side games, but, like, it is the only mainline Pokemon game where you can fight Deoxys. And that's big. Like, that's actually huge. Like, no game since has had a Pokemon, like, Deoxys fightable, but Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl did something similar, not quite the same, but they actually had Arceus fightable if you have save data from Legends Arceus, which I think you do need to have completed save file from that game in order to fight Arceus in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, but like, still, that's a battleable Arceus without a distribution item. Like, that's big, and it was also a remake, so who knows, maybe future remakes of games will have things like that where they'll include one Pokemon that isn't a distribution item where it was a distribution item in the original game. Who knows? That would be cool. Now, back to this game, though. It is an awful shame that none of those Pokemon that I listed are available today, because it would be so cool to be able to fight those. Like, I would love to have a battle with Mew, well, Latios, Lugia, and Ho-Oh at least are available in other games. Like, I did fight and catch Latios in Heart Gold Soul Silver, as well as Ho-Oh and Lugia. But Mew and Deoxys, those two, not being able to catch them in this game, that is just the biggest bummer. I would love to be able to show those fights, at least without using cheats and stuff. I don't like to cheat. I really don't like to. Man, that was a 15-minute rant on event Pokemon. I think that'll actually be an episode on itself, just talking a little bit about them. But I think I'm actually going to bring up the actual Pokedex entries. Not that I have them in this game, but they're available online. So let's actually bring those up quick. Alright, so this is the entry for Emerald for Lugia. Lugia, the diving Pokemon. Lugia is so powerful, even a light fluttering of its wings can blow apart houses. As a result, it chooses to live out of sight, deep under the sea. Well, I guess that answers the question of why is it in the basement of the naval island, because that's the closest place to the bottom of the sea. Next up is the entry for Ho-Oh in Emerald. Ho-Oh, the rainbow Pokemon. Its feathers, which glow in 7 colors depending on the angles at which they are struck by light, are thought to bring joy. It is said to live at the foot of a rainbow. Well, rainbows tend to be in the sky, so yeah, being at the very top of Naval Island makes sense. Latios, the Eon Pokemon. Well, it's called the Eon Pokemon, so it makes sense that its distribution item is the Eon ticket. Even in hiding, it can detect the location of others and sense their emotions since it has telepathy. Its intelligence allows it to understand human languages. So it's smart. That's cute. It's in hiding, though, which is unfortunate. Mew, the new species Pokemon. A Mew is said to possess the genes of all Pokemon. It is capable of making itself invisible at will, so it entirely avoids notice even if it approaches people. Isn't Latios said to be able to make itself invisible? I'm actually gonna check. They disappear. Oh, it only says it disappears in this Pokedex entry. Okay, so it's different entries that it says it's invisible. I know in other entries it says it has a down that makes it refract light or something that makes it invisible. Okay. So Mew and Latios, is that just a psychic ability thing? Okay. That's still neat. And finally, Deoxys actually has different entries because of its different forms in the different games. So looking at it now, the normal form is in Ruby and Sapphire. The attack form is in Fire Red, the defense form is in Leaf Green, and speed form is in Emerald. I was right about the speed form being in Emerald. Heck yeah. That's 1 point for me, at least. Should I read all these? Yeah, I've come this far, so why not? Deoxys, the DNA Pokemon. The DNA of a space virus that underwent sudden mutation upon exposure to a laser beam and resulted in Deoxys. The crystalline organ on this Pokemon's chest appears to be its brain. Cool. Deoxys emerged from a virus that came from space. It is highly intelligent and wields psychokinetic powers. This Pokemon shoots lasers from the crystalline organ on its chest. This Deoxys has transformed into its aggressive guise. This is the attack form. It can fool enemies by altering its appearance. This next one is the defense form. When it changes form, an aura appears. It absorbs attacks by altering its cellular structure. And finally, the speed form in Emerald. A Pokemon that mutated from an extraterrestrial virus, exposed to a laser beam. Its body is configured for superior agility and speed. And those are the event Pokemon. Again, it is a huge shame that none of these Pokemon are available today, if you were to play Emerald today. Bro, I'm ranting. You can't interrupt me while I'm ranting about event Pokemon. Okay. And, yeah, those are the event Pokemon. And I would have really loved to do these events, but you can't really access to them today unless you want to cheat. And I personally don't want to cheat. But if you want to go ahead and cheat, be a cheater, pumpkin eater, then go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But that's just not my thing. Anyways, I guess this will be a whole episode on its own. So, next time on Pokemon Emerald, we'll be doing contests. I did actually prepare a little bit for one of them, but there is going to be some prep needed. Because the Pokeblock case is, I mean, it's filled with some Pokeblocks, I guess, but I need a lot more Pokeblocks of specific kinds so that I can go and just win automatically. I want to win all the contests. I want to do that next. Because that's another completion thing that I just want to do. So, yeah, we'll be doing contests next time. I know I showed them off in the original Let's Play, but I don't think I ever won. Did I win any? I mean, maybe I won 1 or 2. Hang on, I can actually check. Ribbons. So, Bloop has, that's just the champion one. Yeah, yeah, I only have the champion ones, it looks like. Unless did I do any with the other Pokemon? I feel like I entered a contest with, like, maybe you? Does it show ribbons? Because I'd have to bring you into the party. I feel like I did for Kyogre. Kyogre. Oh, wait, no, I need to go into the right door. Pokénav. Ribbons. No, it's only these 6? Did I not get a... Oh. I thought it was only showing these 6 because those were the 6 in my party, but I guess... Okay. I could have sworn I finished a contest. Or won in a contest. Okay, well, regardless, we're doing contests next time. And in prep, we're gonna need a lot of berries of a lot of different kinds. Because I want to win. I want to win them! Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your morning, afternoon, evening. I'll see you later for more Pokemon Emerald. Bye!